night dinner at Kiddush, with my parents, doing a Friday night traditional dinner. My parents were like, "Yeah, Yoni, come on, stop going to these festivals. There's really no meaning in those festivals. You gotta stop going to those." They didn't see any value. They kind of like, we had this really silly, sarcastic discussion. But I tell them, guys, I'm going. Thank you very much. I left around 3 a.m. together with a good friend of mine, Nadav. He was driving. We arrived around 4:30. We sit with my friends. We meet him. We're like 20 of us. I knew most of them. We're sitting like in a circle with tents and lights, and the party was like in the middle of a forest, in the middle of a desert, not too far from Gaza. And so I sent my friend like this location where I am, telling him, "Wow, man, this is crazy. I'm like really next to Gaza, and we're like in this peace festival. Like, check this out." And he's like, "Wow, man, that's kind of scary, but enjoy." Yeah, so we just continued sitting there, pre-gaming, doing what we do in a party. And so between like 4:30 to 6, we're just sitting and introducing each other. There were 3,000 people coming to this festival from all around Israel and all around the world. There are dozens of nations that came to this festival, people from Italy, from France, from America, all different kinds of places around the world, different cultures. Because again, like they like to say, psytrance, electronic music, at the end, it's one language that everyone understands. That's what really unites everyone. So everyone was there, and we're just having a good time. At 6 a.m., we go to the dance floor. And we start dancing and dancing and dancing. After 29 minutes, we see missiles. Now, usually, like we were going to the dance floor because the sun was coming up. And sunrise usually, that's like the prime time. That's like the highlight. So we were dancing, and when the sun came up from the east, the missiles came from the west, from Gaza. And I see this whole thing happening, and the music went on, like kept going for like the next few minutes, and people were like not really understanding the situation. There are rockets coming from Gaza, and we're like in a trance festival, and rockets are coming, landing on the sides, and people are still like, okay. The police took the mic, told everyone to put their head down and take your stuff and leave. It's not safe to be here. It was an open area. So my friend and I, Nadav, I was pretty chilled about it. My friend too, but basically, he woke me up and telling me, "Yoni, like we gotta move. We can't stay here for longer." I said, "Okay, yalla, let's go." So we go to the camping site, helping our friends pack up the lights, the tents, the chairs. We help each other. Everyone split, went different places. Okay, you go here, you go here, you go there. We go to the car and we start driving outside. So it was us and another 3,000 people trying to get out of the festival, away from all the missiles. Now there's a lot of panic around, missiles everywhere. A lot of people were panicking. Some people were taking their time, and I also took like a video while I was at the parking lot, and I can send it over if you want
please.
later.
Thank you.
You can see people like sitting, relaxing.
Yeah.
By the way, there was a couple that was sitting really next to us in front of our car.
Mm-hmm.
That they were just chilling. I think they were having a cigarette or something. We were talking for a bit, and these same people didn't know that an hour later they would be kidnapped by Hamas terrorists going to Gaza. Now, that girl and that boyfriend, that was Noah Gamani. Noah Gamani was saved miraculously by IDF troops back to Israel. Her boyfriend is still there in Gaza. And so we were in a parking lot. We're waiting in the car, waiting and waiting. There's so much traffic. It was jammed. We decided to take the other route. We start getting out. We found some hope. Suddenly, we see a group of people. That they looked super stressed, and they yelled and screamed, "Guys, do U-turn now. You must do U-turn. Like, don't look back. Just go." And we are, wait, well, what happened? Tell us, like, what is happening? And they were really, we didn't have any answers. A few moments later, we see this car coming up. coming really, really slowly. And it was kind of odd because why would the car, I mean, I don't know, something was really, really wrong. So we come closer to the car. We see a woman in the car in the driver's seat trying to stop the car. So I don't know why it was very difficult for her to stop the car. So we went closer and we opened the door for her and we see she was injured on her left knee. She was shot by someone shot her. She was super injured. She was practically almost dying. So we block her wound. We help her get out. We ask her, how did this happen? Tell us. She couldn't even speak. Um, so how she ran, and this is only we understood this only after, and I'll explain it right now. Shani, her name is Shani Gabay. She ran away to Alumim junction, which is near Be'eri. She ran away together with her friends, one of the first ones to leave the festival, and they encountered terrorists, the Hamas terrorists, and they surrounded them, the Hamas terrorists. And at some point, Shani and her friends they saw this public shelter, and they were hiding inside this shelter, this bunker. And these terrorists were throwing grenades inside the bunker and just shooting everywhere. And at some point, all Shani's friends died in the spot, in the shelter. Shani managed to escape, but super wounded with pieces of metal in her. And she was shot on her leg. Like a brave woman, she got out, went back to her car, drove back to where the festival was. And that's where we met her and we saw her. This is something I understood from her family, like when we put all the puzzles together. So he helped Shani and everything. The ambulance was on its way. My friend was taking water from the car. From his car, coming back. By the time he came back, we heard gunfire. We heard heavy artillery gunfire coming from the other side. Okay, now it's a different scenario. So you see a girl dying in front of your eyes, and you see missiles behind you coming from Gaza to Israel, and you hear gunfire on the third side. So what do we do? Now, the gunfire sounded really didn't sound like a friendly gunfire. I did the military service for 3 years, and if there's something I guess I learned is what is a friendly gunfire or an IDF gunfire. And not a friendly gunfire. IDF does not use AK-47s. That's kind of a weapon, for what I know, that Russians. It's a Russian weapon that terror groups use it, like ISIS, Al Qaeda, Hamas, and jihadist groups. And I had a feeling that might be them. I didn't want to believe it, but I for surely knew that's not IDF. So we went to the open fields. We didn't think too much. We just took our time, tried to understand what's happening. Shani was there. Ambulance was on its way. There's a lot of people next to her. We said, okay, let's just wait and understand what's happening, what's going on. We were in the open fields, and suddenly you see a group of people, like from the festival, running for their lives in the middle of the open fields in the desert. And understand what's happening. Behind these people, I try to understand, what are they running from? So I try to look up there, and you see big trucks, like white trucks, and civilians with weapons, Hamas terrorists, civilian with weapons, just on the trucks and just shooting everyone with like a duck range, with the machine guns, big machine guns, pa 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 pa. I saw that scene for maybe 2-3 seconds maximum. It wasn't
People
really.
are falling all over.
People falling, people running. It's a very, very ugly scene that I've seen just for a really, really short time. And you can't be too curious about these moments because, you want to kind of also wait for 1 second and take care of yourself.
Did you feel instinctual at that time, you weren't being able to think?
No thinking, just no thinking, doing. Don't think too much. Just act fast. We saw this valley, this river with no water, full of the bushes and trees. We just dive in, okay, and we put our head down. We wait for things to pass and get a bit quiet. At some point, bullets were flying on top of our head, very close to my ears, whistling next to my ears. My friend Nadav was, taking cover as well, together with me. He was calling his sister, telling everything's going to be fine. And I just also wait for things to cool down. And I didn't tell my parents, not anyone, where I was, because I didn't want them to be worried of me. And I told my brother to tell my mom that if she asks where I am, I'm up north. And that's what we did. you don't want a Jewish mother to be worried. That's like, only a mother can really understand that feeling. And I don't wish it for anyone. So I thought it's better maybe not to say, Um, so yes, we were heading that river. They're shooting at us, and the shooting became stronger and stronger. The sound and everything, and now I still have still these flashbacks, and I can still hear the sound of the bullets flying next to my ears. Sometimes, in some moments, depends what really triggers me. So I open my maps on my phone. Luckily, I like one of my passions is geography and maps. I like to know where I am, to know each place, locations. So I look what's around me just out of curiosity. Where can we run to? Where can we go to be safe? There are all kinds of villages like, I don't know, Sderot, Ofakim. There was this one village though called Patish, very small village. But when I did the distance, it was quite far, it was like more than 17 kilometers. But walking, that was aerial distance, but walking distance was like more than 24 kilometers. So I said, my instinct said, okay, let's go there. There were also other people, like a few dozen people going that direction anyways. I said, okay, let's join them and just keep walking.
Were you thinking like farther away from Gaza area as
farther
possible?
as possible from Gaza, farther from the missiles.
Yeah.
Get away. We don't have to understand exactly where we're going, but let's have a general direction. There's this one moment which my friend Adav he reminded me of this moment where I told him that I'm so sorry that I brought you here, like you don't deserve this. And he told me that it's all fine and I'll thank you once we get out alive. And we hugged each other, and we were with this big hope that we're gonna survive this. So we kept walking in the open fields and walking in the middle of the desert, middle of the open fields, and we see behind us smoke, heavy smoke, white smoke, and I have videos of it, everything, and I'll show you. And I can't stop asking myself, what the hell is going on? What is that? Like a World War vibe, World War feeling. Not that I went through like any war, but for what I see on TV, quite similar. And bombings and everything. And everything's coming from Gaza, like artillery coming from everything. And I don't know who's who, where's. So we keep walking and walking together, all these people, and we can't stop asking ourselves, where are our friends? What is happening? Why would someone attack us? We were just in a peace festival, trying to dance and celebrate peace and love, and all of a sudden this is happening. Like, what did we do? What happened? So we start walking, and we kept walking, just no answers, but just so many questions, and that kind of like saved us inside, because if we really knew what is going on, I don't know what I would do. Maybe I would try to be some big hero and go save people and take them on my shoulders. I don't know what would happen. I mean, I could do that, and I'm thankful that I didn't do it. I don't know what would be my destination. By the way, on that river that I was, and when we were hiding, they were shooting at us. People next to me were just like, I just told everyone to put their head down. Now, there is something that it's not really taboo, but a lot of people don't talk about it. As someone who went there, I can say that many people in these festivals, they take drugs, they drink, they take psychedelics. Each one enjoys with his own drugs, and some people are not really aware of the situation, and some people are, and it was very hard to focus everyone on the situation. So I really don't know what went on with these people. What was their destination. I didn't personally know them as well, but I try not to think about that. Just
because you yourself, were you kind of sober during this? Or,
yeah, sober, and I was super tired. Like I didn't drink, no water, no food, none of us. Yeah, we're like super, like so exhausted from this. We kept walking and walking. It was already 9 a.m. and then 10 a.m. and then 11 a.m. hour after hour, and it's hot. Super hot. It's Israel. It's like we're in the Middle East. It's not Norway in October.
Like 35, 40 degrees or something?
Yeah, very hot. Almost fainting. And we are on the verge of fainting. And, if you faint there are two options. You either get shot in the head, you get attacked by some Hamas terrorists who found you, or you get kidnapped back to Gaza together with the other hundreds of hostages they kidnapped.
Were you already at that point starting to think that this is probably Hamas doing
Yeah,
this?
definitely.
You were
Definitely.
Yeah.
At the half of the walk, I understood, okay, this is...
Uh-huh.
But there were some grapefruits on the way. All the fruits were like rotten. Like my friend was very like brave to like take one of the fruits and just hand it over to me, which was like not so tasty because I hate grapefruits.
Yeah.
Like one of the most I hate that fruit, and there are not too many options to either take it or die.
Yeah.
So we ate it, and we had a bit more energy to keep walking. Eventually, we all walked for almost 5 hours. Almost 5 hours in the heat with no food and no water, not understanding where the hell we're walking, what is happening back there. The people, the citizens from Patish, from that village, they came to help us out. And we were saved. They came with their private cars. They brought us in the community to relax, charge our phones, tell our relatives that we're okay. In the meantime, people are in the back there fighting for their life, and but when it hit me the most is when we arrived at Patish. Ask me why.
Why?
We arrived to this community center. We were like 100 of us there. And each one, like, we're not the only survivors. There were other survivors, and you wanted to hear, what did each one see? So, some people were telling me that they saw their friends being killed in front of their eyes, being shot in the head in front of his eyes. And he managed to escape, and he felt this, like, this hard feelings, like, how could this happen? This one girl telling me that she saw her friends being raped in front of her eyes. There's one person hiding in the bushes, silent. If he made any noise, he would be shot in the head by some Hamas terrorist. He saw also friends being like raped in front of her eyes while he can't do anything. He can't do anything to not only to protect himself, to also protect his loved ones. So things that I've heard from other people that seen different things got me to conclude. I mean, I was in shock. Like, they've described me things that I know, that things that you don't see in ISIS videos on YouTube, sick things. I mean, how could someone do such a thing? Even if you're like, whatever your religion is, wherever you're from, I mean, it's inhuman. I didn't want to believe that. I thought maybe they're drugged, maybe they took some drugs. I don't know, maybe they're not hallucinating. I wanted to like delete that memory. Around 5-6 p.m., I arrived home to see my family. They took us with a bus to Beersheba and then straight to Tel Aviv, and we arrived safe. But again, like, 3 of my good friends, they got murdered.
Do you know where and what happened to them? Did
Yeah,
they take
like,
a different route than
they
you?
each one took a different route. Like, one stayed there and thought everything's gonna be okay. One managed to escape, with the car, and then they found the car and they started shooting the car. He managed to escape, hide in the bush. And then when he was hiding in the bush, the terrorists didn't see him. But later on, he interacted with the terrorists and they shot him in the head and made sure he's dead. But he did save himself in the beginning. Now, there's one girl, Shani, the one I spoke about before. What happened to her? A lot of people ask me, like, what happened to that girl you saw before? So Shani was missing for like 47 days. They were sure maybe she was kidnapped. What happened was that they found a piece of her necklace. She had like a half moon necklace they found it in the Nova event, and they found her DNA of another person on her necklace. Now, that was a bit odd because that same person was already buried and killed the first week of the festival, since October 7th. So they opened the burial, that person. They opened a burial because she was already buried. And they see that Shani's DNA is in that burial as well, meaning they were burned together. They were buried together at the same time. How is that possible? When they did all the forensics, DNA checking and everything, and they put all the puzzles together, Shani basically, the way everything continued since the last time we saw her, She was in the Nova site together with other people, just trying to save their lives and waiting for protection to come. IDF, police. They were hiding in this ambulance. It was her and another like 19 people. There were like 20 in total. The terrorists were slowly coming in closer and closer to the Nova site where all the rest of the people were hiding and waiting for help. So they were inside, and the terrorists were shooting everyone they saw in the head, and they saw all this ambulance and 20 people there. They threw a bunch of grenades until everyone dies. Eventually, one of the terrorists takes his RPG, shoots it right in front of the ambulance in the front. The ambulance was lit on fire, and all the people burned alive, except 2 people who managed miraculously to escape and to be alive. So 18 people died, including Shani, and that's what happened to her. So this is so traumatic because, Shani managed to escape in the beginning. We managed to take care of her. And then she thought she has a chance to live. And then they made sure she's dead. Crazy. I mean, so I feel kind of this responsibility to keep talking about her and all around the world where I am, because she's also a big part of my story. And she saved me and many other people who I don't know where they are now, but I know for sure that I feel like, the minimum respect I can do is, minimum respectful thing I can do is just give her that kind of stage, kind of honor. And because, I would never know where my life would look like, or how it would look like if I didn't see her. I might have gone that direction she came from. I might have tried to be a big hero and try to take her with me, and then maybe I would be killed myself. I don't know. But it doesn't matter, the person deserves a lot of respect, and together with the other people who didn't have luck to be alive and tell their story. So I have to tell it for them.